Sit back and relax while I listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. On tonight's episode, we're going to get back, after taking about a week off, but we're going to get back into our deep dives on the different legions for Horus Heresy. In particular, tonight we're going to go through the 16th Legion, so we're going to be talking the Sons of Horus. We're going to follow the same format we've done for the others, with the Rite of War hopefully coming out about a day or so after this. Part of it is on the editing time. Now, we ran into an odd problem during recording, so I record this off of a few different things just in case something fails, because we've had failed pieces occur in the past. But the preferred method that I go with actually had a lot of audio drift. It started fine, but later near the end, it was lining up really bad. I spent some time to fix it. It really wasn't working, so I'm going with our backup for this. That does mean the audio is not quite the level that I want. We're all pretty well balanced. Dan might be a little bit low, but that might be fine for your ears. But overall, it's still pretty good. But I'm going to be looking into, for our next recording, can I get the option that I prefer to use working well? And if not, what other good viable options do we actually have? Which, if people have suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Not an audio engineer in any way, so trying to figure this out on the fly is not always as easy as we'd like it to be. But, all right. Other said than that, on with the show. There we go. Everything is in. All right, and we will go ahead and get started. All right, and we are back at it again tonight after taking a short break. Various reasons, including potential sicknesses, children, my car broke. But we are back here now, so we are going to be talking about the 16th Legion as we approach ever closer to getting through this. So we're going through the Sons of Horus. Just as we've done in the past legions, we are going to go through everything, except Rites of War will be a separate video, usually released about a day or so after this one. And Primarchs we're saving till the end for whatever way we want to be covering them. All right, so without further ado, Dan is going to briefly take us through some of the fluff. We've realized none of us know it that well, or to an extent where we want to talk that deeply about it. So we're going to kind of try and muddle through the basics.
Well, it's even kind of weird because the Sons of Horus are like the kind of poster boys for the Horus Heresy. And it's like they got so much lore that it's kind of hard to bake it into a biteable chew. So I'm going to try. It's not even that we don't know. It's just they are the Horus Heresy. So obviously the Sons of Horus, their Primarch is Horus, the traitor Primarch. Basically they're originally called the Luna Wolves, actually, which I actually like that name better. And they do change the Sons of Horus after during the Heresy. Basically, they were the ones who kind of initiated Istvan III, which betrayed a lot of the legions, essentially. And also, they killed off, I think, the loyalist versions of the Emperor's Children, World Leaders, and Death Guard. Mm-hmm. And the Sons of Horus are basically the forefront of the fighting. They were on Istvan V, where they betrayed the Raven Guard, the Iron Hands, and the Salamanders.
Yes.
Yeah, they were the first ones on Terra. I think they were the ones who took over the Space Elevator, or either that or it was the Iron Warriors. The point is they were the poster boys for the Traitor Legion, which is interesting because some of the most interesting loyalists come out of the Sons of Horus. Mm-hmm. Some of the original, the name's now escaping me. God damn it, Knights Errant. Yeah, some of the original Knights Errant come from the Sons of Horus. But these guys are the traitors, and not even in the way like World Eaters or Thousand Sons or even like Night Lords are. They don't strap people to the front of their Land Raiders. It's just they were the traitors.
See the way you put it, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I think it's accurate. Although when you talk about sort of the traitors, the original traitors, I mean, it all kind of comes more from the word bearers. So like these guys are the main force, but the word bearers were the puppet masters.
Very true.
To an extent. Just these guys were sort of pride come before the fall, that they were to some extent, I would say,
but it's
better
not
known,
called,
better everything like that. And then
exactly.
so
It's not called the Logar Heresy. It's called the Horus Heresy.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think Logar's goal was ever necessarily to lead, at least from the stuff I've read. Maybe, I mean, they have tons of books I haven't read, but I don't think his goal was necessarily to lead. Horus's goal was to lead. He was given, a job by the Emperor essentially to lead in his stead, and he took that to the next level. I still remember. So when I first, I don't even want to think about how long ago it was. When I first read the first 3 books for the Horus Heresy, I knew basics, but I really wasn't into much. Like, I wasn't in 30K at all. Wasn't really into 40K much. Like, I played a little bit. I liked the books, and they were cool, and like had some models. But I remember reading the point where they do the betrayal, and I didn't know, because at the point I wasn't aware of which legions were which or anything like that. So I just remember reading that and how impactful it was in that moment, realizing later, like, oh yeah, if you know any of this, it was predictable, but it was so well written, especially if you weren't familiar enough with it, that it was honestly surprising when you saw it. All right, so as we said, we'll keep that brief just to make sure that we don't lose track of anything, especially if we're not as comfortable with it. So, Steve, do you want the Legion trait or you want their fancy reaction?
I think I'll take the reaction. It's not my favorite, but I can explain why during that.
Okay. So I will go through their trait then. So their trait is Merciless Fighters. During a turn in which a unit made up entirely of models that are Sons of Horus, special rule, when they successfully charge or are successfully charged, the strength of all melee attacks made against any models in that unit that does not have the vehicle type suffer a modifier -1. Models with the vehicle unit type and this special rule instead inflict an additional 3 hits. So for a total of 1d6 plus 3 hits, or 2d6 plus 3 hits if it's super heavy. My apologies. On units composed of models that do not have the vehicle unit type when conducting a ram. So if your vehicle rams someone, plus 3 hits. Not bad, but I don't care about that honestly whatsoever in any way. The more interesting part is when they charge or get charged, the strength of your melee weapons against them suffer a -1. So it's not a -1 to hit or a -1 to wound. The strength is actually down by 1. That is especially important and useful for weapons that double a model's natural strength, which would, on a lot of cases, say Power Fist, Chain Fist, which double you out, which now the strength of that is -1, so it's a 7. You're no longer getting doubled out. So it's great for survivability. Honestly, I like it more than -1 to wound in many cases, because the things I'm really worried about in close combat are doubling out my characters or my models or my Terminators, where now that's not happening.
No, I agree. It's much better. Like -1 to wound. Listen, -1 to wound has its like
it has its moments.
Yes,
it has its moments, but I feel like it has more of its moments on lower strength weapons, like strength 4, strength 5. This is much more impactful when you have that strength 8.
Yeah.
With thunder hammers, power fists, chain fists, strength 8.
Yeah. Chain fists are a double strength weapon as well.
Double, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is those 3 things. I mean, hell, I was facing a Salamander player over the event that Steve ran over the weekend. And I mean, he got up to strength 10 because he had biomancy, mind you, and he blew his Salamander trait. But his normal stuff was hitting that strength 8, and his tough, that was scary against the World Eater, or the World Eaters I was playing with, and the Thousand Sons. But all of a sudden, if I had Sons of Horus on my team, he charges them with those Thunder Hammers. There's 7 against Justaerin. Like, oh no, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, in many cases, a -1 to your strength can be very similar to a -1 to wound when it's not these stronger weapons. When it is your much stronger weapon, you're probably still wounding on the same number than you would have even without your -1 strength, but you're not getting doubled out, and that's the biggest thing. Their vehicle thing is fine. I don't care.
Okay,
Really
Steve's
funny.
got to remind me
it's
on this
really
one.
funny.
Yeah, Steve's got to remind you. If you ram a unit, they can just walk out of the way, right?
If they pass the
rams
leadership.
don't work the way you think they
No.
do. It's
Yeah.
completely different from any previous edition or even think of
Yeah.
previous editions. So ramming is you declare a distance you're going to move.
Yeah.
You then go and go, oh, look, I hit this unit. That unit takes a leadership check. If they pass it, they hold their ground and you ramming damage. Otherwise, they fall back.
So if they pass,
If you still hit them, then they take damage.
Yeah.
Equivalent to blah, blah, blah,
Okay,
blah,
so
blah.
like, listen, I don't know why it says 2d6. I don't know.
If it's a super heavy, you get 2d6.
Yeah, but d6 plus 3 is not bad. Like if a land raider hits,
it's 3 bonus
it would be
hits,
strength
which is
7.
nice.
Yeah, that's strength 7.
It's
which
not
is
bad. It's good if you need to force morale checks, because it is a straight up morale check they're taking, not a general leadership.
Yeah.
So if you just force morale checks to eventually have one fail, it's not terrible because you're going to do rams to cause that. I don't know. It's something for the tanks.
Exactly.
Yeah, they needed to give something to the
World
tank.
Leaders got.
Multiple people have gotten this. One of the Dark Angels won on one of theirs doesn't. There's a bunch of them who it's like when the rule can't apply to a vehicle and it makes no sense, they either do a special thing or they get a ramming rule. So these are just another set of people who get a ramming rule. But Sons of Horus, honestly, so far of the ones we've read, this is one of the strongest because it makes all of your models from the scary weapons in melee much more survivable.
Yes.
I give you the numbers that it's most impactful for. It's most impactful for strength 1, because then it's strength 0. Strength 3, because now it's strength 2, so it needs 6s.
Oh, okay.
Strength 4, because it pushes you to be moving on 5s. Strength 5, because it forces it to go from 3s to 4s. Strength 6, because it forces it from 2s to 3s. And Strength 8, because it takes away that instant death point. Against other strengths, it's okay. I mean, Strength 7 doesn't really care. Strength 9 is going to wreck you anyway. The Strength 8, which is a lot of weapons, that's Predator autocannons, melta guns.
This isn't in
yeah.
Well, the autocannon part wouldn't matter because you're in close combat.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. So ignore me there.
Yeah. Since it's close combat, most of the weapons that are happening at a strength that matters. There are ones outside of it, but it's much more few and far between. I would say your average thing you're going to face is either your like normal model strength or strength 8 because I've doubled the standard model. So I'm either making it 5s or you're still hurting me on 2s, but I'm not losing all my wounds at once.
So unfortunately, Contemptor Dreadnoughts with their Gravis Power Fists are strength 9.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which sucks.
Yeah. I mean, there's a spot it doesn't help you, but it helps you in most other spots, which is very useful.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's...
I think I got the wrong name for the trait, though. Merciless Fighters, I'm more defended. That's my one complaint. I think it's a fantastic rule. It has some really great applications. But the name just doesn't fit what it does.
You're absolutely right. The Merciless Fighters sounds closer to what World Eaters have by the name. It sounds like you're going crazy. Like I said, this is defensive. Tactical fighters. I don't know, some fancy thing like that. I think that would fit better.
Prideful, like they're too stubborn to die.
Prideful's not bad. Prideful would be a good one as well. Anything better than what they gave them, unfortunately. All right, why don't we take a look at this advanced reaction?
Yep.
Quite long, Jesus.
So it is quite long, but the effect is quite simple. It's return fire before they shoot.
Yep.
But they still get to shoot. So it's return fire, but you get +1 ballistic skill, which is very nice.
So, okay, wait. Maybe I'm stupid.
Oh, and it's a 12-inch range limit.
So I know that the FAQ came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it now says that you declare the reaction before the person fires, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that this, but just with +1 ballistic skill?
And the range limit of 12, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
and you technically resolve this first.
Although the dead models still get to
Not
fight, so it doesn't truly matter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the exact word on it?
It's return fire with a little bit
So
extra.
Okay, here's one case where it could matter. All right, so the shooting text resolved, you remove all the casualties. When do you actually check for pinning? So if I shot you with a pinning weapon, do you check when casualties are taken or when?
When you suffer casualties, I think.
So I could pin you first then, by wording.
I thought you check for pinning at the end of the attack.
Well,
just like you check for...
That's what we got to check. Because that, to me, is the only way it would make a difference.
Okay.
It would have to be a rule that occurs in the moment.
Where the hell?
Because otherwise, it doesn't matter.
It's worse than if you're shooting something that has gets hot. Because there's a chance that you're going to lose wounds you inflict to models that will later die to gets hot.
That is true. There is ways this actually hurts you.
I mean, +1 ballistic skill.
No,
it's nice.
Sorry, it must take a leadership test once the firing unit has finished its shooting attack for the phase.
So this plus rotor cannons equals fun.
Yeah, so that would still apply because they're done their shot. It's not when the shooting action is resolved. It's when they're done shooting.
Huh.
They're done shooting.
Okay. See, I would counter argue because it says for the phase.
Well,
when else is that model? When else are they shooting for the phase? Tell me when else they're shooting.
The reason they write it that way is because you could theoretically have a model that unit that could split fire, like a tank. Let's say you had pinning weapons on the sponsons.
Yeah.
You would test sponson by sponson. It's once the sponsons have all finished. So you would take the checks.
That's fine. Okay.
That's why it says for the phase.
Okay, so you could. Okay, that's actually pretty nice.
It's at that. So the general advanced reaction is decent. That little extra is nice, but it's not going to come up very much because there's not tons. I will say that pins. One, you got to get within 12, and two, your opponent, they can be aware of it. So there is something. I guess the biggest thing is you got an extra ballistic skill, but they got to get close.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I just, out of the 20 matches now that I've played, or the 20 games I've played, no, most of the time the advanced reactions are done usually near the middle of the game when everything's up close and personal.
Yeah.
Right? That's how they're kind of geared. So to be within 12 inches, it's gonna happen anyway.
Yeah, so then that part's not too big of a concern.
Yeah. It's nice. Is it the best thing in the world? No, but it is actually the +1 ballistic skill is nice too. I wonder if there, because I did ask this because the Myrmidons have something very similar. This does work, Dave, in case, and I don't know if because I don't know any of their units yet. Okay. But let's say you have ballistic skill 5, right?
Okay.
And you have a plasma gun, right? And you use this advanced reaction, and you go to ballistic skill 6. Mm-hmm. You can re-roll those ones, right? And as long as you don't roll another one,
absolutely correct.
You don't get hot. Yeah. So
the final die roll is what counts.
Exactly. So there is that. I mean, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
He says.
We're having to stretch for it. None of the advanced reactions in general in the whole game are bad. I would never classify any of them as bad. Some of them are absolutely better than others. Some of them are absolutely, Legion defining. This one is not unuseful. That's the best thing I can say about it. Getting +1 when someone's close is worthwhile.
That's a good way to put it.
But it's there's some of these advanced reactions when you look at it that is exciting about the Legion. You're excited to use it. I'm not necessarily excited to use this. That doesn't mean if you shoot my 20-man tack squad with your 12 inches, that's going to be great because I've already done that with Dark Angels. When you're hitting on that +1 is huge. But again, that's that. Here's the game it happened. That's nice. In the other 5 or 6 games, it helped me a tiny bit compared to a normal reaction of shooting.
Yeah, okay.
Counterpoint.
Yep.
You will feel less pressure to hold this one back.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're actually going to use it.
Yeah, use it the first time
I actually had games where I never used my advanced reactions because I was waiting for the right moment and it didn't come,
Yeah.
This one, you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I lost a special return fire.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be like, oh my god, I can't use it.
No, I would absolutely say with this one, use it the first time you can. Just use it, get it over with. It'll do you. If they're within 12 and shooting you, and you want to shoot back, you might as well shoot back a little better because they're probably either going to charge or really light you up or do something bad. Just use it. Don't try and save it for the perfect moment.
I mean, to be fair, I've only used my advanced reaction like 3 times because mine is very specific.
Play
Yeah.
real army.
I think
All
you
right.
just want your opponent to have a chance.
That is true. We'll get into the horrible things that they do to this game later. So we got 3 Warlord traits. I know Steve just covered the last thing, but he usually likes the Traitor one. Is that still accurate?
Yeah.
I mean, that's always accurate.
Okay. Tell
That's the
us
false
about
emperor.
being a traitor there when you're chosen by the Dark
All right.
Gods.
So, if you are a traitor, chances are you are chosen by the Dark Gods. Obviously, traitor allegiance only. At the start of each of your turns, you roll a die. On a 2 to 5, you get a bonus strength and toughness characteristic until your next turn. On a
Ooh.
roll of a 6, you also regain a single lost wound. We cannot take you above the starting total. But if you roll a 1, you suffer a single wound that you cannot save, take invulnerable saves, or damage mitigation rolls against. You just take a wound.
Yeah.
But you can regenerate later if you have this or something else that gives you wound regen, and you also get an extra movement phase reaction.
I do
You
like
don't
how
have
it's a
to make this
choice,
roll.
which is
You
nice.
don't have to make this roll,
Yeah.
but more often than not, it's going to help you. And at times it hurts you are counteracted, and then some a little bit. But at times it helps you. This is fantastic. I don't see why you wouldn't use this.
Agreed. The only time you don't roll is if you're like on 1 wound and it could possibly kill you.
If you're on 1 wound in close combat, you just take the extra strength and toughness and murk them first.
True, unless you roll that 1 and then you're removed from combat.
Details.
Yeah. In my
Details,
mind, that's the
details.
only time I don't roll. I got 1 wound left, and I don't. That's the moment I'll roll the 1 and
But
kill
you
my
have
model.
the same chance to roll a 6 and regrow that wound.
Yeah,
I knew you were gonna say.
I don't play. I play dice games, but I don't play dice games. So
That's funny.
it's
do
a very
like this,
strong
though.
one.
Yeah, it's a very strong one, and that plus toughness and strength is really good. Toughness 5, especially when you have someone with like a power sword, a lightning claw. Obviously, actually, this is really nice
This
too. It
pairs
well-
amazingly with the Legion trait.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It pairs amazingly with the Legion trait.
Now, Strength 10 is an instant deathing you on the charge because you're Toughness 5 and they're only Strength 9.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
This is
It's
a
also
very
great if your opponent spams Meltaguns and other Strength 8 weapons because
Yep.
this will work at range too.
yeah.
Dan, do you want to be loyal or not loyal?
I'll be loyal. I'll
Do
be
it.
loyal. All right. So, and it's because Luna Wolves, to be quite honest, and I love the Luna Wolves. So, so obviously this is loyalist. A warlord with this trait may only join a unit composed entirely of models with both the Legion of Sons of Horus special rule and the loyalist allegiance. Okay, that's a weird. All right, whatever.
Well, because
Both the
normally you
Warlord and-
can join potentially certain allies,
Oh,
but
okay, I see.
this
I see.
stops you entirely from doing that.
Okay, it was just a weird way. I'm like, why would you not?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm
so used to
sure
playing
they must have
mono
Battle
army.
Brothers as at least one of their allies. I don't know their matrix, but they have
it
at
makes
least
sense.
one.
No, it makes sense. I play mono armies. I hate mix and matching
Yeah.
unless like knights don't count. But it's just that's what threw me off for a second. I was like, I don't get it. Anyway, both the warlord and the unity gains +1 attack on the turn in which they successfully charge or are successfully charged by an enemy unit that includes any model with the Legion Astartes X special rule and the Traitor Allegiance. So we haven't said one of these in a long time, so I'm going to rephrase. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're playing a normal game and the other person's an Ultramarine player and you're a Wolf of the Lunar Lawyers player, just treat them like they're Traitor Allegiance, please. Just don't.
Here's the other
Most
thing,
people
Dan.
do that.
Add an extra layer. You play Mechanicum. You don't let this happen.
Oh no, and I told the other.
Yeah.
I'll get into that in a moment. These increases are in addition to any other bonuses granted by other special rules, so like charging. In addition, an army whose warlord has this trait makes an initial reaction during the opposing player's. Wait, what? And in addition, an army whose
Assault
warlord
phase.
has this trait makes an additional reaction during the opposing player's assault phase. Sorry,
Yeah, you get an extra assault reaction. That's all.
Yeah. I was just my man. Okay, so listen. Essentially, you get +1 attack if you're charged or you charge,
Yep.
which is nice if the opponent disorders you, which gets rid of your charge bonus, so it just still gives you +1, and he grants it to the entire unit. So I like this. Now, Steve mentioned something that I really quick want to touch upon, and I absolutely did this for the event, and I told the player, I know that these books were written like very time wise. There was a lot of time in between them. I know that almost every single thing for Warlord traits as Legion Astartes X. In my opinion, it should say Legion Astartes X, comma, Mechanicum X, comma, Imperium. Like, to me, it's a very bad, feels bad if someone brings in demons or Mechanicum and your Warlord trait is shit. It's the same thing as, like, you're playing Loyalist versus Loyalist, and then he goes, oh, but it's only Traitor Legions. No. If it says Legion Astartes X, obviously the thing is that your Warlord is so trained against the other opponent. That's the whole point of it. So if you're playing Mechanicum, this affects Mechanicum. In my opinion, that's a complete house rule. That's something just I do because it just makes sense to me. But I just wanted to put that out there because I did that with the event. There was an Alpha Legion player who gets bonuses against Legion Astartes X. Now, he was my partner for one game, but he wasn't my partner for the other game. And he goes, well, I can't choose you. And he never chose me anyway. He chose the World Leaders. But I go, no. If you want that +1 to hit against me, by all means, go ahead. Because it makes no goddamn sense. So, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's...
No, it's simple. When they wrote the rules for all of this that they came out with, it was Legion versus Legion. The other armies, for all intents and purposes, and from what we've seen from the Mechanicum book, kind of show it, were to an extent an afterthought. It doesn't mean they can't be a thing, but let's face it, these are the other armies, aren't the main line of plastic. Okay, I know some Talons of the Emperor could be as well, but a lot of the other stuff isn't. This is what they wanted to launch with, so everything is focused at them. But no, I agree.
Okay.
One of two things. Either, one, you just count it as so you get the bonus, because why not? Or your opponent gets to pick another one. That would be the other thing. If you're okay, if you don't want to do that one, hey, you still like the other one, I'll let you switch to it. Let your opponent have a bonus from their Warlord trait. It was one of the things they had to choose.
No, I agree. And as I said, I did it during the event, and okay, listen. Is it going to hurt you? Sure, he's getting a bonus, but it's like you want to play a fair game. Like, I don't get why someone... I can understand, you know what, I'm not going to put word in people's mouths.
Nope, don't.
But... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just gonna say it feels it.
I don't think
Brett said this.
I don't think you have to convince. I don't think you have to convince anyone who's listening of that.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, there could be some people out there like that somewhere. But for the people who are listening to this, I don't imagine any of them would disagree. If you do, leave it in the comments on the YouTube. That's absolutely fine. Podcatchers don't let you do comments like that, but you can leave it on there if you disagree. But I think, play in the spirit of it, play and have fun. Exactly. Let people have the rules.
Well, I was going to say, someone said in the store something that resounded with me. He said it years ago, and then he said it again when I started playing again with Horus Heresy. And he goes, fun is not dependent on whether you had fun; it's dependent on whether your opponent had fun as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always ask your opponent if he's having fun. So this seems fun to me. And again, it just makes sense. Like,
I don't know.
If he's this super powerful warlord who's trained.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. But that from a man who plays Myrmidon spam. All right. So the Arbor of Pride, the last warlord trait here. So the first time in the battle when the warlord was reduced to 0 wounds for any reason, the controller player must immediately make a leadership test. If it's failed, remove it as a casualty. If you pass the test, you're not removed as a casualty. You remain in play and get back D3 wounds. It has no effect against attacks or rules which would remove the model as a casualty without inflicting wounds, or against attacks with the instant death special rule. You also get an extra reaction in the shooting phase. I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but the first one, the Traitor Warlord trait, you get one in the movement phase. So they go through each phase with this. I personally, because obviously your theme is either loyal or traitor for your legion, I would absolutely take one of the other two long before I take this one. It's not that it's bad, it's just not as flavorful and fun. I make a test, and if I make my test, your leadership should be good, so it shouldn't be tough. But I have to make a test for this to do anything, and it won't help against the stuff that's really tough. So things like instant death. So if my guy is toughness 4 and I get hit by a power fist and I fail to save, this doesn't help you. Or if it's a murder strike weapon, this doesn't help you. Or if I was removed without inflicting wounds, doesn't help you. I'd rather get extra attacks or have the fun role of being stronger and tougher. I don't know. This one doesn't thrill me. Or if
No,
either of you are
I
thrilled, let
agree.
me know. But I'm not thrilled with it.
No, I'd take the other two, to be quite honest. I mean, listen, is it lol that your warlord that your opponent thought he killed stands back up? Yes. Now, does it say where? Oh, give me a second,
No,
real quick.
they
It's
don't. They're
not
not
like
removed. That's the
they're
idea.
not
When
removed.
he
He just
would
stands
be
up. Okay, got it.
removed,
I was
don't
gonna say
remove him. Yeah.
he remains in play. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't
I was
have
gonna
the
say it'd
weird
be really
40k
funny.
problem of getting pushed around and stuff like
Exactly.
that.
I was gonna
No.
say I would like this warlord trait more if all of a sudden he stood back up like somewhere like it's an armor. I'm assuming, right? The armor of pride. Yeah.
Yes.
If he like displaced himself before he died, because I feel like there's something in 40k that does that, where like before you die, you displace yourself on like one wound. So then
Something like
I'd
that.
say, okay, this is pretty damn cool. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
not
know,
what it is, though. Doesn't have
no,
that.
exactly. I was
You know
gonna
what's
say
really
it's
funny?
not, so I'm less excited about it.
You know what's really funny? There's nothing saying you can't go over your starting wound. I'm not saying it's a real argument to make, but you could theoretically go from having a 2-wound Centurion, go up to having 3 wounds if he dies.
No, stop that.
I would say no for the simple reason it's you regain the wounds.
Yeah, you
You can't
regain the D3 wound.
You can't regain
Let it
more
just
than
let
you
it
have, than you had available to you. You were 2-wound model. You can't regain 3 when you only have 2 wounds.
I don't know, man. Chosen by the
No,
Dark
stop that.
Gods has a specific thing, so you can't go above your starting. This one doesn't.
Yeah.
Wait, does it really? No. Does
Yeah.
No, it's simple.
No,
No,
it's
that's
nonsense.
ridiculous.
It's absolute nonsense.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
we know it's ridiculous.
I just think it's
I'm
funny.
gonna I'll chalk that up to the
No,
writing
it's
of the
the
book.
no, it's the sensible writing. When you look at it,
There you
it
go.
makes sense. It should be this. Just play it that way. Don't listen to Steve. He's a traitor, and he's gonna lead you down the wrong path. All right, Armory. We have two items, and then their consularis. Does anyone have a favorite?
I'll take the axe because
I
I know
thought
it
you
looks
would.
cool. Yeah, I love melee weapons. It's
All right, go for it.
I'll take the bolter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I got a Dark Emissary.
So the axe, you may exchange any power weapon for a Cursoran power axe at no additional point costs. The weapon listed here is a power weapon. Oh, so it's free. Nice.
Yeah.
So Cursoran power axe is strength user. So I thought it was gonna be like a plus.
No,
Power axe
just
is a plus
read.
1, right?
Yes,
Hold
just
on,
read the
just
full
really
thing
quick.
first,
Okay.
then we'll talk about the special.
Yeah. So Cursoran power axes are strength user, AP 3, melee, breaching 5+, specialist weapon.
It's like a power sword, but it's breaching 5 up instead
Yeah.
of rending 6.
And it is free. Um,
If you were going to take
That's
a
nice.
power sword, I
Yeah.
like this.
You'll lose attack though.
yeah, you'll lose the specialist weapon is what throws me off because you'll lose an attack.
Except on Terminators.
Yeah.
So it's a go-to for Terminators, I feel.
Yeah.
Squad sergeants, it's more up in the.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
it's
also,
a
this
special thing because it
this
has
is
it.
not characters only.
No.
Most of these types of things are characters only. This one is not.
Yes. Which does mean you
you
could
still
swap
lose
it
that
into a
attack.
few of the guys in a squad. Like I said, Justaerins carry these, but even your normal Terminators, if you wanted to put a few in there, you absolutely could.
Yeah.
You were so excited about the X, but you didn't read it all ahead of time, and now you made yourself sad.
No, because I like to go into these blind, you know?
Well,
Like if I was a new player.
okay, blind is fine, but make sure you finish reading things before you get yourself excited. Then
Well, it's because it said, so the reason I got confused is because it said Carsoran power axe.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, it's going to be a power axe. And then it's like a power sword. So I was very much like, wait, what? Why
Yeah.
did they just call it a power? Whatever.
well, it is an axe. At the end of the day, it
Because
absolutely
it's
is an
shaped
axe.
like an axe.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
and it's
the
not
nomenclature
unwieldy.
annoyed me.
You know, there's some good and bad compared to a normal power axe. There's
The losing
reasons to
attack
consider
does-
both.
Yeah.
If you
The
need
losing
to
attack
crack,
is a big.
Hmm?
I said the losing attack is kind of.
but that I mean, yes, that is bad, but that's a thing. You know, there's several weapons you might take that are specialists, so that's absolutely a potential thing.
As
But
a perk, this
yeah.
is a great offhand weapon to go with a Paragon Blade.
I agree.
Because
that's
it's
not
a
bad.
very cheap power. Really cheap specialist weapon.
Yeah,
That's actually not a bad. Okay, that's actually not bad. I like that idea.
I said compared to the normal power axe, there is some cases where you do this if the time you're swinging really matters to you. If the AP is not as important because you're not worried about heavier things. We'll see it when we get to some of the units that have it. But Otherwise, I think it's very, very particular if you actually want to put these on any of your guys, except for the fact that they can look cool.
Exactly.
All right. Special bolters. What do we got?
Yeah, Bane Strike Bolters. So this is available to independent characters as well as Legion Seekers, who absolutely should not take this. They should not take this.
Okay.
And veteran squads could take this too. The characters get it for 5 points, Seekers get it for free, and veterans get it for 2 points a model. Essentially, it's a bolt weapon. It's got range 18, strength 5, AP 4. The bolter version is rapid fire, breaching on a 6. The combi bolter version is rapid fire, twin linked, breaching on a 6. And this weapon is a great example as to why you cannot have special ammo combi bolters for all the other legions, even though you really should. So if everyone asks, well, why can't I have, for example, shrapnel combi bolters? Because it's not in the book, because it's not a bolter that's twin linked, it's a separate weapon, as indicated right here in the Sons of Horus category.
Do Seekers have...
Seekers have much better ammunition, and you
Yes,
will
they
never want this under
No, don't take
any
it on your Seekers.
circumstances.
Yeah. So the reason is because I know that headhunters are an Alpha Legion, and headhunters with this is a lot scarier. But I was gonna say, do Seekers have what the hell is it called? Precision Strike or no?
Yes, but they also
do?
have breaching 4-up as one of their ammunition types,
So
which is
then
better
why
than
would you
breaching
ever-
6.
Yeah, why would you?
But you don't put it on that unit.
Okay.
They're giving you the option. Remember, they will give
Yeah.
you options. It doesn't mean you
Oh,
have
no.
to do it. And if your goal is to make a
Mhm.
better unit, you don't have to take the options. But it is, fits the fluff that they have this as an option, because those are guys who get special bolters naturally.
I mean, I'll be honest. I bet you $5. I'm not looking. I bet you anything that they're special Terminators, the Justaerin have them. And honestly, if the Justaerin have these, okay, there we go. Because they can rapid fire them. They're twin linked. They're breaching 6-up, and they can just kind of walk forward and keep firing them. So that's what I'll see. If they're on the Justaerin, you know what? Fine, fuck it. I'll take it.
Well, if they're on it, you don't have to worry about taking it. They have it already.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
It's not a choice.
It's just exactly. But I'm saying it's like, okay, I can see the usage of this.
Yeah, I could see the use on veterans, because the extra strength. I don't mind it there. I don't think I'd put it on any of my independent characters, because for 5 points, there's potentially better options. I might even go with a Volkite Charger. A lot of them could do instead, and I kind of prefer that a little bit. But I could see it
You're
on.
gonna get less range, worse AP, and you're not gonna get the breaching. Sure, you're losing a shot at long range.
Yeah,
But I think the Bane Strike's better than a Volkite.
it might depend on what you're going against. Absolutely, I just don't know if I want to spend the extra 5 points on my characters to get this as the weapon. If this was 2 points, like it is on the veterans, yeah. But usually, I find my independent characters either want a very cheap, almost no point cost weapon upgrade, or their goal is to be shooting with a really good weapon. Usually it's more of, at least the way I gear them, a big melee weapon and like basic bolter, or sometimes I'll put the 2-point weapon on them, because the points start adding up very fast. I find it doesn't pull me enough to want to throw that on them. All right, so that's all they have for basic armory. They don't have much stuff there, but they do have their own Consularis. They have a Dark Emissary. You have to be the Legion Centurion, Cataphractii Centurion, or Tartarus Centurion. They have to be Sons of Horus, of course. And the Traitor Allegiance can become Dark Emissary. It's very fitting they should be Traitor, but to me, that is the extra they give. So it's 25 points to be this Consularis. If you get this, they gain the War Master's Eye special rule. If a Dark Emissary is selected as a compulsory HQ choice in an allied detachment that is part of an army that's a Traitor Allegiance, then all models in the allied detachment with the Legion of Astartes, Sons of Horus special rule gain the Stubborn special rule. You're there to watch over the others and make sure they're doing the right thing, which is at this point the wrong thing. But you're essentially your allied army.
Potato.
Because
To
your
be fair,
ally
the
in
Sons
that
of Horus
is the Sons of Horus.
Compared to the Emperor's Children or the World Eaters, I mean, they kind of are doing the right thing. compared to what they would be doing otherwise.
Okay. Well, we'll get into the socio-political understandings of the 30th millennium on a special episode. There, you can wax philosophic about it. He does have some war gear. So remember, these guys. Then the intention for this is, for that first rule, is that you are the ally attachment. War gear. You gain a staff of dark authority and no additional points cost. That's a great name. A dark emissary may not select. He can't take a jump pack, combat bike, or jet bike. And his staff of dark authority. All models with the traitor allegiance that are in 6 inches from him, including the model himself, take their leadership up to a 10 for morale or pinning. It's also a weapon. It counts as a power weapon. Strength +1, AP 3. It's melee, unwieldy, but it does have a murderous strike 6 up. So it's Paragon Blade Light, because it doesn't have quite as good AP. And the unwieldy, but you do at least have the murderous strike, which is nice.
That's neat.
Yes.
I like this. That leadership 10 is nice.
Yes.
Is it wholly within or just
within?
Models?
Just within.
Just within. All right, good.
Yeah. But notice it's models,
Yes.
not units.
Wait.
It's the models that are within 6, not the units. Now, for a lot of cases, when you're called to make, say, a pinning test, you can choose who's technically, like, what leadership you're rolling. Usually it's you roll for highest, but if something says, like, roll for the lowest leadership in the unit or something like that, your whole unit doesn't become leadership 10, only the models that are close enough. That does mean if you kill one of those models that's close enough, and now the rest of them are not, you lose the leadership buff. So, you can take this without it being the ally. It doesn't force you to, but half of your special rules don't apply if you're not the allied detachment. So, you could take this if you want to get this nice leadership 10 buff for right around him. But if you're doing an allied detachment, I think this is a really good thing to do. I think this is a lot of fun. Plus, the Staff of Dark Authority is both a pretty good weapon. In actuality, it's actually a pretty good weapon. And it's hilarious to think that you have a murderous strike stick.
You bonk them.
You hit them across the nose so hard they die. All right, so that takes us to the units. So for normal units, not counting characters, I have a total of 4 listed. So does anyone have a favorite?
Favorite? That's hard to pick with this Legion, because actually I do have a favorite.
I do. I'm not sure I can pick. I can pick immediately.
100% my favorite is the Chieftain Squad. It's from the exemplary battle, so that's a whiles away.
Okay, so that'll be the fourth one we go through.
My favorite, because who doesn't love boarding shield Marines? If you don't love them, you're wrong. By the way, you have to love them. You're contractually and legally obligated to love boarding shield space Marines. I don't make the rules.
All right, Dan, do you have one in particular that you would like to talk about? You're allowed to say no. Oh, okay. He stepped away for a moment. All right.
Yeah, that's why I was talking a lot, just to fill.
No, that's fine. I didn't notice it's now. All right, I'll take the first ones because they're here, and Dan missed it. You lost your chance. I'm doing Justaerin's.
Oh no! I tried to do it as quickly
as possible. You literally took 5-10 seconds too long to get.
No, here's what to do. You take the Justaerin's because I don't. Maybe after you're done talking about it, maybe some of your hype will make me like them.
Okay? Maybe? Okay. So.
Go ahead.
Justaerin Terminator Squad. They're 275, which is the higher end?
High end.
I always forget.
It's an extra 100 points.
Yeah, it's the high end except for Death Shroud, which would technically be 350 for 5. Yeah, they don't count. But everyone else, it's the high end. 275 is essentially the high end, you say.
So you got 5 Justaerin. They have Bane Strike Combi Bolters. They have the Power Axe. They have the Legion Cataphracti Terminator Armor. They are heavy, bulky 2. They're Justaerin Retinue. Furious Charge 1, which is, I believe, you add +1 to the strength when you charge. They're Chosen Warriors, and they're also stubborn. And their stat line is...
Yes.
Weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5.
Those are both one better than regular Terminators.
Yes.
And like 3 attacks is not bad also. They got 3 attacks.
No, 3 attacks is good because that's an extra attack. Good.
Okay, it's a solid stat line. I was expecting it to be 3 wounds. So I was
They're,
expecting
they're
like 3
captain
wounds.
level.
Yeah.
No, the reason I was expecting 3 wounds is because there were 2 wounds in the last edition. So I'm surprised they didn't move to 3, but it's fine.
They'd have to go
Which is
to Death Shroud style points if they went to 3 wounds
Okay,
each.
that makes sense.
Don't just hate
So-
when games are balanced and models have 1, maybe 2 wounds.
Yeah, no. So you can up 7 more, and each one is 50 points. Oh my god, 50 points more. Holy shit. For every 5 models in the unit, you can exchange the Bane Strike Bolter for pretty much the normal Heavy Flamer, Reaper Autocannon, Multi-Melta. You can change your Bane Strike Bolter for a Magni Combi Weapon, a Minor Combi Weapon, or a Volkite Charger.
Some
Any
of
model
which
may
are
change
free,
their
which is
Power
big.
Axe for...
The Minor and the
Let's see,
Volkite Charger are free. That's not always the case.
Oh, they
so
are free.
you are not
Okay.
necessarily upgrading points if you want some of the minors.
You are
Okay.
hurting me so much with the way you're just going through these options.
Yes.
Well, no, it's...
7 Justaerin means they cap at 12, which is a weird number.
Yes, that's really weird.
Multi-Meltas are an almost exclusive option, except Exemplary Battles gave that to the Iron Warrior 0-1 unit, the Dominators,
Yep.
Oh,
and the
okay.
Raven Guard unit.
Yeah, that is
The
actually very rare.
Deliverers.
Normally,
That is
Oh, I
you
didn't
get
know
it.
normal
Multi-Melta was
option.
rare.
Yeah,
I did
no,
not
That
know
is
Multi-Melta was
not normal.
the normal option is a plasma weapon. I forget the name of it.
Gun.
Yeah.
Not blast gun.
Interesting.
Plasma
Okay.
Blaster?
Yeah, Plasma Blaster. That's the normally the standard, not the Multi-Melta.
Got it.
Yep.
And then it looks like they can exchange your Power Axe for a Power Fist for 10 points each, which I think that's the normal. Power Weapon, Lightning
Yeah.
Claw is free unless you do dual. It's 5.
Yeah,
And
the
then
points of
Chain Fist,
those
Underhand,
weapons
it's
is normal,
15 is
except for
normal, yeah.
the
And then the
claws.
ARs are 10.
Because
And
claws
then
being
you
free
have the
is cheap.
retinue. You have a
Magna
retinue.
Magna Combi weapons are also cheaper than normal. They're normally 10, here they're 5.
Yes.
Oh, okay, here they're 5. Okay.
Basically, imagine their Bane Strike Combi Bolters are a 5-point built-in upgrade, because all of these other options are 5 points cheaper.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. And they can take a retinue. They're a retinue. And they can take a Legion Standard for 15 if they're a retinue.
Mhm.
Okay.
You told me you were going to sell me
man,
on
there's
these.
a lot
You were
of
so
pressure from
excited to
Dave.
talk about them.
Yeah, I know. So again,
You
it's
thought
weird
there were
'cause no
3
one plays
wounds, and
just-
that's why you were excited. And now you find
Yeah,
out they're not 3
okay,
wounds.
so a couple of things that I thought they were gonna have. Okay, because in the last edition they were 2 wounds, where Terminators were all 1. So this was already a big deal for them, right?
Okay.
They were weapons skill ballistic skill 5, which is fine. And I feel like they just didn't they were just scarier in the first edition. Now that most things are 2 wounds, like the veterans and the Terminators,
Okay. I wouldn't say most things are 2 wounds. I would say some of the more dedicated close combat units, maybe.
yeah, okay.
But
Or the elite units, I should say.
But here's the thing, though. But if you're not willing to put extra points into these guys are not good against Terminators, because
No,
their
they're
weapon,
not.
their Cursoran Power Axe is AP3, and that's the base thing. Now you can swap out to normal Power Axes for free. You can take your Power Fist or Thunderhammer's Chain Fist, all for the same standard points. But when you're starting me at 275, I kind of want to be able to handle Terminators at least to some extent.
Okay.
Or be in such a way where I can survive them better. Like if you had
Well, I was gonna say, I think you're gonna survive
Battle-hardened.
Terminators for the sheer fact that you do not get insta-killed that first round of combat.
what? Yeah,
And that's
true.
why they're not 3 wounds this edition.
Yes. That's
I'm telling you,
absolutely
that's
why.
the exact
That-
reason they're not 3.
Yes, so I would say that makes it up slightly because I believe it's charged or charged,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First
okay,
round of
so-
combat
okay.
is essentially the rule.
Okay, so my hype is now coming back up, and so you kind of have to give them Power Fists. Let me open up Forge World. I don't know what they're armed with in Forge World. $5 armed with the axes.
They're armed with axes.
Yeah. They're
Are they?
armed
Okay.
with their special weapon because that's how they come base.
Yeah, so I would.
But they also have a multi-melta in the box, which is the only Terminator multi-melta they make.
Yeah.
In
I
any
would
game
give
system.
them, I would give them multi-melta because that's actually pretty hot.
It's
I could've-
amazing. It's
that's
twin
a
linked at
hot-
BS5, so you're gonna hit.
I would.
Unless you're me.
Wait, it says it. No, it looks like they come with. Wait, why are their hands blacked out?
Because you buy a weapon set. That's why.
Wait, they don't. Oh my god, they don't come with hands in Forge World.
These particular
Um,
ones do not look like they
no,
do.
stop
Not those
that.
weapons,
Hold
at
on.
least.
Contains 5 multi
Yeah.
pack with Legion. This can be. Oh my god! Yeah, you can't. Oh my! I don't. Is this the only one that doesn't come without hand weapons?
Not true.
No, I'm sure that's not true.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say.
No.
But anyway, okay, so it can be combined with.
The Corsoran Power Axe looks like
honest-
a crow's bill.
I know. Honestly, if you're combining this with the Cataphracti, whatchamacallit, the
Kit.
Cataphracti special weapon sets.
Yeah.
I believe those sets come with Power Fists and Lightning Claws.
It comes with some,
Just-
not enough to fill out the unit, but it does come with some. Yeah,
I gotta look that up. Give me a second.
that's fine.
The
All right. Well,
plastic-
while you're looking that up,
Yeah,
we'll
while you're
talk.
looking at that, you explain to me why you
we
don't
were
like it.
already going to do that. So
Oh, yeah.
having their trait absolutely does make these guys better in the first round. After the first round, they have a problem. My big problem is if I'm going to spend 275, I want to feel that, not that I can necessarily throw them at anything. I'm okay if you can't throw them at anything. I want to feel, though, that they have a decent shot at whatever they're going against. So if you're going against a Terminator, my special Terminator units that can't stand up to Terminators worry me a bit. They could, but then I got to start spending more points. You're already at 275 for 5 points. Dan did miss their dedicated transports. If it's 5 or less, you can take a Proteus or a Dreadclaw. Those are the dedicated. So maybe if you like one of those or like a Dreadclaw, you can pop down. Now, especially because the Dreadclaw does have Deep Strike, which it always should have. But then you can close. This models feel like you have to be able to decide where they go, not your opponent making that decision for you. Because if I didn't upgrade them a lot, they're not going to get through a unit of Terminators. Okay, I may not die that first round. I mean, their weapons will get through my armor, so I'm going to take some wounds, but I may not lose tons of models. But the next round, now when they start doubling me out and I no longer have my bonuses, it could get really bad. You know, for 275, for 5, I'd want to be throwing at least like 30 extra points on that. A Chain Fist and a Thunderhammer, maybe a pair of Thunderhammers. Now I'm over 300. I got to make sure they get there. I feel more compelled to get them there because I got to make sure I make my charges I want. I got to know where I'm going, which means maybe then I have to throw them in a Proteus, which is more points. I don't know. They're cool looking.
Okay.
I think they can do a good job, but I think they're, again, this very high points special Terminator unit that if you point at the wrong thing, you're going to have a bad day. What did your research find?
Yeah, so this is weird. And maybe it's because my search foo is not great. So I typed just Cataphracti in Forge World, right? Maybe they, you know what? They probably moved it to GW Plastics.
You're talking about the special weapon set?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
clicked for 2 seconds. I found it. You get
but there's no Power Fist.
No, you get 4 Lightning Claw because it's the special weapons. So they don't get, the Power Fist was essentially normal, the stand that was on people. So you get 4 Lightning Claws, you get a Chain Fist, 2 Thunder Hammers, a Sword, a Maul, a Heavy Flamer, a Reaper Autocannon, and then combi weapons. And then the Plasma, you do get the Plasma weapon as well.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No.
No, you would have to take their special
them.
axes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I was more excited for them thinking about it, but... Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not excited in them. They were much cooler last edition, and I just, it's, I don't know. Maybe there's a Rite of War that I haven't seen that makes them better. But it's just, to me, they're just kind of.
I like the idea of a bunch of Furious Charge Lightning Claws running around. Strength 5, so we're on 3s with the reroll. I'll take that.
Again, not bad.
Like a Rite of
Furious Charge.
There's got to be like a Rite of War that makes them better. There's got to be something like buffs them in some way.
One of them, they can take Deep Strike in one of the Rites of War.
And if the character they're chosen as an escort for has Deep Strike, they gain it.
And outflank. They can do outflank.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
no, it's okay not to be super impressed by it. When something is that
I'm
many
just
points.
surprised. I came into this from like a 1.0 edition kind of mindset.
New edition. Got to look at things brand new.
It's kind of disappointing, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. If you have Sons of Horus, over time, you're going to get a unit because you want to be able to run your special units. I fully understand and support that. But if you're not careful with what you do with them, you might have a bad day.
And it's kind of annoying that the special weapon sets don't come with like Power Fists. It's slightly annoying me.
Yeah. No,
It's okay. Everyone has those spare from when they built their box sets.
yes. If you bought the Cataphractii box set, you have tons of Power Fist. That will not be the problem. Or
Oh,
sorry, if you
okay.
bought the main box, yeah. There's
Okay.
enough Power Fist for that whole unit. And I
Yeah,
know at least for
that
me,
box
I
has
didn't use
5
one.
Power Fists, 5 Chain Fists, 5 left and right Lightning Claws.
Yes.
You'll have options.
Yeah.
Okay,
You'll be
good.
fine. All right. I know Steve wanted one of the other units, so maybe I'll take this particular Reaver, and then someone else can talk about the. Or Steve, why don't you take this Reaver, because then I can talk about the other ones, and that saves you for the Chieftain.
Okay. So, Reaver Attack Squad. Here we have weapon movement 7, up skill 5. That's a nice little bump. DS, Strength, Toughness 4, 2 wounds, Initiative 4 attacks, 2 Leadership 8, save. Looks to me like a veteran stat line. Then the
Yep.
Chieftain, which is the squad leader, has 1 more attack. They got a bolt pistol and a chain axe. Hey, they're not world leaders. What are they doing with those chain axes? Frag crack power armor. They're infantry. Squad leader's a character. They are relentless, chosen warriors with counterattack 1 with precision shots and strikes on a 6. If they're 10 miles or less, they get a Legion Rhino. If they're more than 10, then that's their problem. Oh, sorry, Rhino or a Dreadclaw drop pod. You get up to 15 extras, so they cap out at 20 models for 22 points a model. One could have a Nuncio Vox, one could have a Vexilla. Any model can take a Charnable weapon, Powder weapon, or Power Fist. Anyone could swap out their Bolt Pistol for a Hand Flamer. You can have some Twin Lightning Claws in there. You can have 1 in 5. You can have a Melt-A-Gun, Plasma Pistol, or a Flamer.
I'm recording.
The squad leader could have Melta Bombs, and the squad leader could have Artificer. Essentially, think of them as a veteran squad that caps at 20, has a few less options here, a few extra war gear options there, and access to a lot of power.
I love these guys. I love them more than just Justaerin. Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. It's okay.
No,
This is all opinions here.
exactly. No, it's
I mean, your opinion can
precision
absolutely be
strike.
wrong, but I don't think you're wrong in this case. Points would be the only thing.
It's so weird because, like, okay, again, and I hate to go back to Justaerin's, but they had precision shots and precision strike 6 up. Why not just toss that to the Justaerin? So 1 in 6 chance, okay, whatever. But it would have made the 275 cost and the uniqueness better. You know what I mean?
You can only throw so many points at a unit. That's all that is.
I know, but it's just so weird that they don't have, like, whatever. Doesn't matter. But no, these guys are great. These are great. I mean, they're just solid. 2 wounds. They're 20-man veteran squad. I would love these guys are like, I would love these guys in like
now compare them to a generic veteran squad, because that's their nearest analog, right?
They're veterans that are / like the spoilers to an extent.
Yeah. So for 4 extra points, you're getting the chain axe and the special rules instead of a bolter.
Yeah.
Is that worth 4 points?
You have a chain axe instead of a bolter.
Counterattack is probably worth 2.
Yeah, and the precision strikes and shots, I think, is worth the extra points as well.
On 6s?
Yeah,
I'm okay with that
for the shots, because you're getting 1 shot a model with almost all these weapon options.
Yeah, but remember, you get 2 to 3
strikes,
attacks maybe. Actually, you get 3 to 4 attacks because you have a bolt pistol chain axe, technically. So you 20 of them in a squad charging.
Okay,
you're gonna get some precision strikes.
You're spending tons and tons of points that as well. I don't. If a unit can't perform at like 10, then I have no interest in talking to them about it 20. Because that's just so many models.
I'll put it at 10.
Yeah.
Even at 10 points. Precision strikes is really nice because you could toss every now and then summon an apothecary, and they're forced to take that save now. Yeah. Precision strikes is one of those things where it's like, even at 6+, it's low key good, especially if you're tossing that like 10 dudes.
Oh no, strikes I get. Strikes is nice. It's the shots I'm looking at. I'm like, why the shots?
Screw it. Whatever.
They have a bolt pistol.
It's gonna
1 in 5 will get something fancier, but that's 1 in 5. They're all like 1-shot weapons. The plasma gun gets 2 whole shots. Well,
honestly, that's what the precision shots is for. Is you put the Melt-A-Gun on a guy, and that cool game you rolled the 6. It's only gonna happen in that one game, but that one time it happened, or maybe that one time it happened twice to you, and you're gonna tell all your friends about it. compared to veterans, overall, yeah, I do like these. These guys are both elites. Compared to veterans, yeah, I like them. I see reasons why if I'm running this army that I would take these guys over it. Absolutely. To me, part of it is because our Legion trait is good in close combat. These guys are geared weapon-wise to want close combat. More so to an extent than at least the standard veteran. So you're better at what you want to do, and even if you get charged, not only am I lowering your strength by 1, but I also have counterattack, so I'm getting my bonus anyway. So that's what I like. I like these guys more than veterans for those reasons, assuming you want to maximize what your Legion does. That's all right. People don't have to be sold on that. The next unit will be super, super fast. Because, so let me just put my timestamps. The next one is the Reaver Aggressor Squad. So this was the Reaver Attack Squad. The Aggressor Squad, for anyone following along, is in the Legacies PDF that they put out. And GW, so we're recording this near the end of September. Last week, they did an FAQ and an errata, and they updated Legacies. There is an update on this, so at this current time, if you're in the right one because it's in magenta. If this is far in the future, it may no longer be magenta, but it's magenta for the moment. When you look at the aggressors, they're 165 points. Stat-wise, identical to what you just heard. Special rules, war gear, everything, except these guys have jump packs. They're 30 points a model instead for the extra up to 15. So they're more, but they have a jump pack. Everything else is identical all the way down. The one extra that they have, other than, of course, having jump packs, is they have a rule, the black reaving. Reaver Aggressor Squads may be chosen as troops choices for detachments using the Sons of Horus, the black reaving, Rite of War, and when chosen as troops choices, they gain the line. So we're going to do the Rites of War after this. But if I go to that Rite of War, are the other models naturally troops? Yeah, normal Reavers become troops and are line. They gave these guys the rule as well that, hey, you're just a different type of Reaver. You are a troop and you're line in the black reaving, which makes perfect sense. If you like the previous unit and you want guys that are faster with jump packs, if you like I said, like assault squads, here's your sort of special assault squad. My only hang up is how expensive they get when I want to get to 10, because I don't like the idea of 5 jump pack guys by themselves.
They're very points inefficient to add models compared to the other unit.
Absolutely. It's one extra 8 points each. So an extra 40, which maybe doesn't sound like that much when you're talking about some of the points costs these guys are getting to. But
in a jump pack's a jump pack. I mean,
I agree. I do like that. They're faster. They don't have the dedicated option, so because before they had some options, so that's fine. They're faster for sure, but I'm starting to get to that point where I'm starting to spend tons and tons of points on an improved, but essentially Marine style body, veteran style body, and I start getting concerned when this unit for an extra 5, an extra 150, now I'm over 300 plus for these 10 guys. I don't know. When I start spending tons and tons of points on models, I start getting a little bit concerned. So I would be a little bit concerned with that.
Yeah, I have the opposite problem. When I spend too cheap on models, I'm like, oh, I feel something's wrong.
You play armies primarily that are very expensive. When I look at
I'm like,
Marine stat lines, again, this is a better Marine stat line, but it's still a Marine, and I'm still worried about spending too many points.
From my point of view, 2 wounds is still great. Weapon skill 5 is great, and the jump packs make it so they'll enter combat better, or at least they become a threat where nothing else is being shot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because, for example, like the Ursarax on Mechanicum, they have yet to get to combat. Those poor fuckers. They still have yet to get to combat.
Yeah.
But they're threatening enough that people will pour fire into that squad to kill them while everything else is advancing up the field. So, I mean, listen, does it suck that they're going to get shot off the field because they're so scary? Yes. But if they don't get shot, you're probably going to carve up what they charged.
Potentially depends on what they react with, what they potentially shoot you with, because you might have 2
Very
wounds,
true.
but still a 3-up save.
You also don't charge a plasma support squad.
Well, no. But when you look at certain things, when I start spending tons and tons of points on a unit, I do start getting a little concerned. Will they do enough for me? I think these guys could, but you absolutely have to be very careful with them. You put them in the wrong spot and they get shot up too early. You will, okay, they ate some fire, but they're gonna feel like you wasted them.
Exactly.
But
I will say they look really nice in ZM. Like I could see this where, like in ZM, where it's tight quarters, you can't shoot through walls and stuff. I could see this very easily being a nice unit in ZM. Not the jump pack, but just Reavers in general, I should say.
yeah, no, the regular Reavers I like, and I do like the Aggressors as well. And maybe this is part because I don't have a lot of jump pack guys. I'm still working on some jump pack boys, but I don't not like them. But I would just be concerned about the number of points. Like I would not want to run a 20-man squad of that. That's just going to cost me way too much.
Also, you start getting hit with like blast weapons and stuff, and it's gonna be a real feel bad.
Yeah, honestly, even that point because your
Low-life
weapon is
tip,
just far.
magnets. Magnetize those backpacks.
Oh yeah, actually,
Even if you don't think you're going to
Okay.
switch, put them in just in case.
Actually, I agree with you. I'm a big person who I don't magnetize my infantry at all. I magnetize my contemptors and up. All right, that's what I magnetize the vehicles, and that's about it. I can see a very, very good argument for magnetizing the backpacks here.
Yeah. So far for the
This is the same, right?
yeah.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah,
Huh.
same models otherwise. Here, absolutely
Exactly.
magnetize your jump packs. I haven't done it for the jump pack guys I built so far because I did want some dedicated jump pack guys, but I've done 10. After that, anyone else is going to get magnetized, so that way they could, be more of a standard to spoiler instead of assault. But I did want to be able to run like one big assault squad. So, but no, and these guys, magnetize it, run them however you like.
Exactly.
All right, Steve, that takes us to the Chieftain Squad. Now,
Best unit in the game.
all right, and
Best unit in the
now
game.
these
Hands
guys are out of one. So a lot of the other ones
Exemplary
have been
battles in the
exemplary.
Age of Darkness. I
Yes.
got this. Exemplary battles in the Age of Darkness. The Battle of Trisolian. Vengeful Spirit. Very long name, but that's the one. This came out in July of 2022, so it's after they did the big Exemplary Battles compendium, essentially. This is the one where they're fighting against the Space Wolves. And this unit it's tempting me to start a Sons of Horus army just so I could field this squad. I love this thing.
Do
Now
it.
you're getting me okay. You're getting me hyped. You're literally getting me hyped here.
You probably shouldn't be, but I am. So,
Alright,
Chieftain squads, they're 125 points. You're going to get 5 guys. They have a standard veteran stat line. They get Bane Strike Bolters, unless it's the standard bearer who gets a Legion standard, which means this unit is now lying. We got a bolt pistol as well, and a chain sword, frag and crack grenades, power armor, and a boarding shield. They are heavy infantry. They are Sons of Horus, obviously. They are Chosen Warriors, and then they have Relentless, as well as 2 new special rules, Chieftain Retinue and Kingslayers. Kingslayers, really fast. If they do melee attacks against enemy models that have independent characters or Primarchs, hit rolls of 1 may be re-rolled. If you're in a challenge with such a character, instead, you re-roll all failed hits. So that's nice. Chieftain Retinue, it says you can take them as a retinue instead of being an HQ choice. Simple as that. They don't have to be a retinue, though. They could be taken as a standalone HQ unit, which means if you wanted to do an odd detachment without paying so many points for such a useless thing as an HQ slot, or something really cool, you could take these guys. Their options, they could take up to 5 extra guys for 20 points each. They could exchange their chain sword for a chain axe for 2 points, a power weapon for 10 points, or a power fist for 15. And the entire unit may swap out the power armor for artificer armor for 5 points a model.
Ooh, okay.
So I mean, that's like
I
an
just love
almost
them
auto,
because
right?
they're close combat breachers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
auto.
Yeah. And when you do that, they are on par for points with the generic Legion command squad with boarding shields.
Yeah.
But the normal ones don't get Bane Strike Bolters, and they're not as cool because they can't be an HQ choice in and of themselves. With these guys, you could have 3. in a regular detachment. So here's 1, 2, 3 HQ slots done, and that's 3 scoring units if you're struggling for scoring units for whatever reason. So you take like Pride of the Legion, right, and you just want a little bit more scoring. You take these guys. They're great.
Now, I do like these guys.
Are they amazing? No, but I like them a lot.
Yeah.
I wish they had a dedicated transport option. That's their only thing holding them back from being amazing, in my very biased pro boarding shield opinion.
No, I agree.
Shove him in a Stormbird. Shove him in a not Stormbird. Fuck no, Storm
Thunderhawk?
Eagle. No, Storm Eagle. Jesus, I went to the complete opposite side of that spectrum. No, Storm Eagle. Just shove him in a Storm Eagle.
If you happen to have a Storm Eagle lying around.
Casually pick up more like 17 extra Storm Eagles. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no. So you need to find them a transport because they're heavy, that they can't run, so they're walking wherever they're. No rhinos, no drop pods, no termite assault drills, unless you're doing underground assault rite of war. Which, if these guys are all your HQ slots, like I would probably run them because I love close combat breachers as a theory way too much.
But these guys
You
could
have
do
to
it.
basically buy slots for them. Oh yeah, no, they could do it.
Yeah.
These guys are great,
Especially in Artificer armor at 2 wounds. They could be your close combat breachers.
Oh yeah, 2 wounds a model, 5 up invulnerable save, reroll saves against blasts and templates. They're beefy. They're really beefy.
They're bulky. What, 1 or 2 or no bulky whatsoever?
No bulky. Doesn't say bulky anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I'll say it again. Storm Eagle holds 22.
You're going to put your squad of
10.
5 to maybe 10
Permanent
dudes in a
put
Storm
them
Eagle.
in a Land Raider Proteus.
Yes. Take a Land Raider.
Because the Storm Eagle's also an assault vehicle, a flying assault vehicle. So these guys come in, it lands, they come out, do their thing.
It's more likely that people would have a Proteus over a Storm Eagle, I think.
Oh, true.
Especially since they announced that kit's coming out at some point.
That's true. No, these guys are good, and being able to take them as your HQ unit, if you want, is very useful. Especially if you're doing like an allied attachment. They fit that very cool.
Or Zone Mortalis.
Yep.
Yeah. Just anything where you have a small amount of points available to dedicate to something, this is great for.
All right. That takes us to characters. Now, they have a total of 4 characters. They have, 3 in the book and 1 out of Legacies. Does anyone have a favorite character?
Oh, you know who I'm taking.
Just who? Abaddon, I assume? Or Abaddon?
No, Loken.
Okay, I have no idea.
How dare you, sir?
All right.
I'm taking Loken. Garviel Loken.
All right. I guess maybe I'll take Maloghurst first because he's up first. Why not? My time stamp is pretty good. All right, cool. So Maloghurst the Twisted. He's 140 points. So he's move 6. He's weapon skill plus skill 5s. 4 strength toughness, 2 wounds, initiative 5, 3 leadership. 3 attacks, 10 leadership, 2 up save. So he is a Centurion stat line, although he has a better leadership. Otherwise, he looks pretty similar to them, from what I see. He's got that special Bane Strike Bolter, but he also has a bolt pistol, power sword. He's got his grenades, frag and crack, refractor field. He comes with a Legion standard, and he's in his Artificer armor. He is a line, so he's a character line, which because he does have a Legion standard. Have we seen another character be line? I don't think so.
No, I think this is your first.
Every single Legion Herald.
Okay, sure.
Because that's what he is.
That is
He's
true.
a named Legion Herald.
Yeah, actually, very true. Yes, I guess for special characters we haven't seen it, but yeah, for Legion Heralds, forgot about those guys. He is a Master of the Legion as well. He's an independent character, relentless. He's got Adamantium Will 4 up. He will not die 5 up, which is nice. Broken in Body, which is a special rule. He's a traitor, and he has his own Warlord trait. So if he's your Warlord, here's the trait you get. All models in the unit joined by Maloghurst the Twisted gain the line subtype and count as a scoring unit. And when he or any unit he has joined controls an objective, that control may not be canceled or contested by enemy denial units. Only by enemy scoring units that only enemy scoring units that contest an objective held by him and any unit he has joined. So he's super scoring. In addition, if he's your Warlord, you get an extra reaction in the opponent shooting phase. So he automatically makes your unit scoring, which makes sense because he has
3
the
times
standard.
over now.
Yes.
Once for the standard, once for himself, and
Yep.
once for this rule.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just in case you did not know, he is scoring.
Yeah, he's scoring in every single way, no matter what. And he's super scoring because denial units don't count, only your opponent's other scoring units. His other rule, broken in body, so was horribly injured, almost killed. So Maloghurst the Twisted, any unit he joins may not run and cannot make sweeping advances. He essentially acts like he's in Cataphractii armor without the bonuses. Which, I mean, for what I'm going to put him with is probably maybe like a Legion, a unit, a Cataphractii or something like that. So I'm okay with that.
Put him in a scoring
Just be
Justaerin squad.
careful because you will lose the benefit of heavy.
You will.
So you won't get to re-roll saves versus blasts.
Absolutely. That's absolutely true.
The only thing to watch out for.
Yeah.
Yes.
If that makes a difference in your game, that's absolutely something to consider.
You
No, not too often, but
just
there
in
is a
case.
chance. 140. What's a normal Legion standard bearer guy?
The body is what 60 and the upgrade's another 25,
Okay.
maybe 35.
Yeah, so like 85, 90, somewhere in that sort of range. So he's more, but if you take him as your leader, you get a super scoring unit. You can make anything scoring with him, which would make sense. I mean, they would do that anyway. He's got a good amount of rules, and the broken in body I don't really care about because the units I put him with, that's not too much of a problem anyway. You figure his goal is to score closer towards the enemy's line, not on your own backfield. So he's probably with a unit in a transport. So the fact that they can't run is okay.
You can make the argument with him and Justaerin, because Justaerin will protect his weak booty. So I can see that.
I can see
Scoring
that, although
Justaerin is
Justaerins can make themselves scoring as a retinue. My
Oh,
only thought would be I want this guy, although you're not getting the standard without being the retinue, and this guy's already scoring, so I don't know. I don't know if I'd put him in there, but he's very useful for what he does, and he fits. They gave him a very fluffy rule with the broken in body. I'm assuming he's got a model on Forge World. I haven't actually looked at him.
It's a newer release, actually.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Yes.
I'll pull him.
It was announced around the time they announced the new edition.
Where's this boy? Oh, there he is. Let's take a look at him. Okay, he's holding a big old standard, which is just the Eye of Horus. I mean, I like what they did on the top of his head, but the rest of him's fine. I like the standard overall. I like that he's essentially, you can see he's supporting his weight on the standard. That's the reason he's still able to stand. And the fact that it kind of looks like they Humpty Dumpty, put his head back together again is kind of good. So overall, I like him. I do like this character. I think he's very fluffy. I think he fits cool. You're not impressed?
I think his rules are very fluffy. I'm not impressed because he has such a generic stat line. All he really has is leadership 10 over the generic Herald, who I checked is only going to be 80 points base.
Okay, he's 80. Okay, it's cheaper than we thought.
What you're paying for is that super scoring.
Yes.
And it will not die.
Yeah.
Which will rarely come into play with being only 2.
It comes into play if you force it to, because you're going to make him take one of the wounds somewhere and then hope you regen.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. I don't think he's necessarily great. If I'm building for fun, I like this guy because he's a cool, fun option. I think he fits what his character is supposed to be very well. But if I'm building necessarily to try and do well, I don't quite agree with that as much. Although the super scoring will matter more if you're playing missions where scoring truly matters. There's a lot of missions where it honestly doesn't. If this was a progressive scoring game, similar to the way that GW actually did their missions when they did their games days, this guy's stock would go up huge. That's all right. He's cool. All right. Steve, did you want to take Abaddon then? Which is actually how they say it. They don't say Abaddon, but either way, it doesn't
they say
matter.
Abaddon.
All right. Yes, I will take fail Abaddon. Absolutely.
Hey, if it doesn't work the 12th time, try again.
You could cry about Horus tripping once in a while. It's like, oh, I tripped on the stairs. Oh my god, my Primarch has fallen. I was not at all an Abaddon lover. in the books.
You don't say.
But all right, let's see what we got. We have a generic Praetor stat line with a lot of attacks. 5 to be precise. I think that's one more than usual, or two. That's two more than usual.
One more.
Only one more. Oh,
Better
okay.
weapon skill
Only one
too,
more.
right? Aren't Praetor 6?
Oh yes, they are normally 6.
Yeah.
That is also true. All right, so we got some better weapon skills, some more attacks. So he's, very aggressive, very skilled fighter. He's got a Bane Strike Combi Bolter, a Paragon Blade, a Chthonian Power Claw, a Grenade Harness, Cataphractii Terminator Armor. He's obviously heavy, character and unique. Sons of Horus, Master of the Legion, independent character. Relentless, bulky 2, battle hardened 1, so he'll be toughness 5 for instant death purposes.
Which is great.
He is fearless. He has built-in deep strike, so if Justaerin Terminators are a retinue for him, they will also deep strike, based off of their retinue special rule. He has precision strikes 4+, which is really nice. He's a traitor, and he has a custom Warlord trait called the Vengeful Spirit. If he's the Warlord, he gets this trait automatically. His unit gains Feel No Pain 4+. During the movement and shooting phases of any turn, they are deployed as part of a deep strike assault. In addition, you get extra reaction in the opposing player's movement phase. It's going to be really nice on that turn you drop in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
really
that
nice.
kicks up Justaerin a little bit.
Because that's going to protect you from the interceptor fire and from return fire.
Yeah.
But not for the enemy.
Nope.
It will because...
It just means you get ballsy about the deep strike.
No, it will because then you have the Sons of Horus rule. Because now that you charged, if you're charging Terminators, for example, their Power Fist can't instant death you.
But you won't have the
But that's irrelevant to having Feel No Pain 4 up.
Oh, no, but
Yeah.
I'm saying is like, you were saying, oh, it's useless. But I'm like, well, now that you're in the close combat phase, you still don't get instant death.
But we're not there yet. But I'm saying it only applies for the enemy reacting and shooting you.
Yes.
Got it.
And his custom weapon, it's a power weapon. It doubles his strength. It's AP2, melee unwieldy specialist, shred mastercrafted. It's a beautiful blend between a lightning claw and a power fist. And it's mastercrafted. Not sure there's much more to say.
I mean,
He is expensive.
he's 250. He's 250, which is...
I hit that fairly often on Praetors. It's not that much. It's really not that much.
You hit 250 on a
But-
Praetor?
All the time, dude. Because they start at 120.
Yeah.
And then you give them some war gear. Now they're at 150.
Okay.
And then they're become a warsmith. They give them a servo arm. And now they're 215. You mastercraft some stuff. You get to 250.
Okay, because you have extra special stuff you can throw on them. That's why then. Okay.
Yeah.
Mine don't
But
get
I'm
nearly that expensive.
I hit 250 pretty often. It's like, ooh, do I have a Praetor or a Land Raider this game? I gotta think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he's 250, which is expensive, but the fact that he can give the squaddies in deep strike, because of the retinue rule, that's right. So here's the thing: you needed all the ducks to line into a row, but I could see him in a Justaerin squad deep striking in, and that gives them the Feel No Pain. They're able to deep strike in. Now you have this heavy duty unit up in the line. They can survive that Overwatch. They can survive the Interceptor. Yeah. And, I mean, for Christ's sake, what's funny is you accept the challenge with some sort of mook from the Justaerin squad, and he just carves up whatever he needs to.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the challenge.
He's got precision strikes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got precision strikes. Screw it. Have him pick out everything else that he's charged.
I'm gonna be honest, that's one thing I hate about characters with precision, is because you want your character fighting a challenge for fun and fluff reasons, but it's optimal to keep them out of a challenge. That's just not fun.
Not always, but yes, I agree with you.
Nothing is ever always. I'll give it that. Overall, I like him. He is expensive, but he comes with a giant list of rules. He can absolutely up the Justaerins or just whatever unit he goes in. His Warlord trait, if you plan the Deep Strike, which he's in Cataphractii, it's going to be very slow otherwise, is very nice. It does help you for at least... you have a Bane Strike Combi Bolter, so normally my Terminators don't tend to shoot much, because what's going to shoot back at me might hurt me, but having the Feel No Pain, maybe now I'm a lot more willing to shoot there as well. I don't mind Deep Striking very close to the enemy, because I have a 2-up save with a 4-up Feel No Pain, assuming they don't have weapons that'll double me out. And like I said, precision strikes, yeah, I can go last and kill everything that matters. Or he does have a Paragon Blade, so you could just swing that naturally if you don't need the extras that it has. So
Does that mean he gets Paragon Blade as a specialist weapon, right?
I would assume so. I don't have it in front of me.
Also,
It
he
is.
gets 6
Yes.
attacks, actually.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 7 on the charge.
Yeah, that's not.
No, well, at 250 points, he needs to be able to do quite a bit. And honestly, the biggest part to me is because he's battle hardened. If he didn't have that, I wouldn't be nearly as happy about him. But having that means you're probably going to get your 4 wounds out. But yeah, don't put him in a challenge. Let him murder everyone else. All right. 2 left.
The good
Dan.
news is.
This guy is a good guy.
Yeah,
That's
the
absolutely true.
good news, by the way, is that if you bought the Abaddon model for free, you get Garviel Loken. They come together as a set in Forge World, which I find funny. You can't buy it either individually. So, Garviel Loken, who's the captain of the 10th Company. He's also the last Wolf of Luna. He's the last Luna Wolf of the Loyalist. So, yeah, anyway, 175 points. What standard Praetor stat line? Hold on, with one
his
extra
ballistic
attack.
skill is better.
Oh, his ballistic skill. Okay.
Yeah. Normally 5.
And one extra attack, so he's got 5 attack.
Yes.
He's got a bolt pistol, a Paragon Blade, Artificer Armor, Iron Hailer, Frag Grenade, Crack Grenade. Although weirdly, I think on Forge World they modeled him with a chainsword, but I guess Paragon Blade
is his Paragon Blade.
Yes. Paragon Blade can actually be anything.
It could be a shovel.
Don't be.
I like that.
He's also Master of the Legion. He is a Loyalist, independent character, Born Survivor, and the Wolf of Luna is his Warlord trait. So, the Wolf of Luna. So, if he's chosen as the Warlord, he gets Wolf of Luna. A Warlord with this trait may only join a unit composed entirely of models with the Sons of Horus special rule and the Loyalist allegiance. Both the Warlord and any unit it joins gains +1 attack on the turn which.
This is the one that you read.
You having flashbacks?
There it is.
Yeah.
This is your Kaiser Soze moment right here. This is the one you read.
Exactly. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why did they reprint? Why
That-
did they reprint it?
They could have just
damn it.
said it, but it's nice that they put it. They had space on the page.
Yeah.
They had space on the page, so they put the full thing. That way, you only have to
that
look
makes
at this
sense.
page
No,
to know
because
what he
every
does.
time. So we've had special characters where they're like, "Here's his Warlord trait. It's up there," you know. So I'm just like,
If you notice, that really, as far as I know, has only honestly happened in the Legacy. In this book, special characters tend to actually have special traits, or it's written out. Legacies has had a few.
All right. Born Survivor. The first time in any battle, when this model with the special rules reduced to 0 wounds for any reason or otherwise removed from play as a casualty, you control him and immediately make a leadership test for that model. If that test is failed, the model is removed as a casualty. But if the test is passed, then he remains in play with D3 wounds. So this is just a better version.
He essentially has 2 Warlord traits.
He has both.
Yeah, he has both.
He has Armor of Pride. He just doesn't get the extra reaction based off of that. He gets it off of the Wolf of Luna.
But remember, Armor of Pride doesn't work off of instant death or
Yeah. He's got some extra bonuses here from it.
Yeah. So he's just a solid character. I mean, listen, he's not. He's just a solid character. He's a better Praetor only because the more attacks and more ballistic skill. He's, leadership 10, so you're most likely not going to fail, hopefully, when he dies.
Yeah.
And he comes back with D3 wounds, which is really, really nice. So you could possibly just have it's very rare, but you could have a 6-wound dude. He dies, comes back with 3 more wounds.
Yeah.
It's not a Paragon Blade. Like, he's just good.
Yes.
He's just solid. He's solid. He's literally the most. And he's just solid.
I'm so glad he can hit with his bolt pistol on 2s and then try again for 6.
Hey, first you don't succeed. Try again.
Ballistic skill 6.
Yep.
It's interesting. It's a choice. They made it.
They wanted to differentiate him
great.
a little extra. Yeah.
He's great. If you don't try him at least once, well, you should.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I watched Typhon kick this guy's teeth in without even trying.
Oh, I'm sure. But
that's also because Typhon's just obtuse.
If if you're running Loyalists, absolutely run this. One, it's very fitting, you know, especially, honestly, even more so if you're doing, instead of Sons of Horus, if you're doing like a Luna Wolves thing.
Yeah, you
You
please
know,
take,
run this guy. He's got very good abilities. He's got a Paragon Blade, so he's not really that much overcosted for the special characters. Are always extra cost. I don't want to say overcosted in a bad way, but they have a more cost. With the Paragon Blade normally being very expensive, he's not really that much over. I just
25 extra
wish,
points.
yeah, I just wish his face wasn't awful.
Yeah, no, the face is off. I wish he came with like a special. But I'll put it this way: you could probably, if you're gonna like, if you're doing a Sons of Horus Armory, you'll probably pick up like one of the specialized helmets. I will say, finance-wise, this is one of the better special characters to get because technically you're getting a 2-for-1 deal, and and if you never want to play with Abaddon ever because you just want to be Luna Wolves, you could just sell Abaddon. You know what I mean?
Notice Dan never suggested selling Loken if you wanted Abaddon. Just selling Abaddon if you wanted Loken.
So listen, I play Trader Mechanicum, yes, but I've been playing Loyalist longer than Trader, so you know.
All right. I don't know. Maybe this is my own personal heresy. I hate both the models.
I hate his head. I 100,000% agree with you.
Yeah.
And the Abaddon model is fine.
It's garbage. The rest of the model
Looks
I'm
like
okay
he's
with
tripping.
on Loken. You know, the shoulder pads I like his giant weapon. Everything there, his face looks really bad. I understand the concept they're going for. They're going for them yelling at each other. The problem is a static face yell doesn't look very natural.
No, it doesn't.
When you look at Abaddon, he looks like he might be screaming because he's falling. They have him at way too hard of an angle. He's going to flatten Loken with his body. Okay, when you look at the normal thing, he's better, but when you look at him separate, they have just a really hard angle on him. His mouth is open. Yeah, okay, I get he's screaming at the other guy. He looks kind of derpy. The rest of the body I like. I like the armor. I like the look they gave it. It's very fitting. But maybe it's the faces. Yeah, the faces absolutely ruin it for me. But I don't think you replace Abaddon's head because it's so iconic with the top knot and all. But Loken, yeah, I'm going to put... I mean, I'm sure they have a Praetor model. I will put the Praetor helmet on him.
I would say I wish, because I will say, I know we haven't talked about it because it's just a generic model. The Praetor model for the Sons of Horus,
very nice.
I think is by far probably one of the prettiest Praetors I have seen in the line. Because they just came out with the Emperor's Children one.
Which one?
Like the normal Artificer armor dude.
Yeah.
Which one?
Wait. There's only one.
They also got a Legion Command.
Oh, get the.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Sons of Horus have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 character models.
Yeah,
like their Cataphracti also looks very delicious with the cape blowing in the wind. Right, he's stepping on his tactical rock. You know, but I will say that their Praetor, and maybe it says the paint job. Whoever did the paint job with like the skull, the trimming, it's just. The way it looks, it's just, maybe it's just me. It's just me.
It is. If anyone's watching YouTube, it's the model that's showing, this whole time. Because I always pick a Praetor model to essentially be the background. It will be this model because I like it. That is honestly their best model for that particular army. That is their best one.
I will fight people and say I think it's probably one of the best Praetor models. Definitely top 3 Praetor model that they came out.
No, you don't have to fight anyone on that.
Definitely.
It stylistically fits one of the best.
Yeah.
I am salty because they don't have 6. They have 7 different character models and 2 Primarchs.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They are getting a second Horus model.
That's true.
I have 0 character models for my Legion. For either of my Legions, actually, aside from the Primarchs. These guys are as bad as the Imperial Fists in that respect.
You can easily buy yourself the plastic.
A generic plastic model. I am flattered.
You're fine. Is it the Warpsmith? Right, Warpsmith.
Horrible model, by the way.
Yeah.
No, but which one is it? The one that I suggested.
Okay.
The Warpsmith.
So we were talking about Justaerins before. They have a special Justaerin weapon set. So if you're doing Justaerins, they have special.
Did you not see? It's right there. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, you know what? Because it doesn't say cataphracti.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Are
No.
those? I wish. Okay, they're only on the side view. So you know how it has like the crow's beak. Is that
Yes.
like a legit axe, or is that more like flattened,
No, it's
like a
an
ham?
X.
It's an axe.
Yeah, it's an X.
Because I was gonna say you could make the argument. Because I was looking at the cataphracti weapons. The thunder hammers kind of look kind of dopey. Not, I shouldn't say dopey, but they kind of look like small thunder hammers. You make the argument that these are just thunder hammers, and they get a
I
lot
mean,
better.
just
And there's your
convert them a
multi-alpha.
little. Blunt
Yeah.
the edge with some green stuff, some filing.
Yeah.
Then
Because then
play
you
with
have
Thunder
one,
Hammer.
2, 3, 4, 5 thunder hammers. It makes the squad expensive, but then
Very expensive.
now we're getting But you know what? It's worth it now. You know what I mean? Now you're actually
I
not
don't
doing it.
All right, they got one person left. Where is he? Oh,
Page 92.
yeah. I just had it.
Legacies 93.
93.
No.
You were wrong, Dan. Get it right.
No, I'm 92.
Dan's looking at the
Oh,
old
more.
version,
Yep,
not
old
the new
version.
one.
Go to the new.
Did I not delete?
Get,
Oh my god, it is 93.
Yeah, get with the times. All right, I'll go through this guy. He's super small, and he'll go very fast. Tybalt Marr, he's 175 points. So his stat line, he's weapon skill, ballistic skill 5, strength toughness 4, of course. He's 3 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks, 10 leadership, 2 up save. So he looks like close to a Praetor, almost Praetor stat line. He's got the special bolter. He also has a bolt pistol. He has the culling blade, artificer armor, iron halo, frag crack grenades. He's of course character. He is a master of the Legion, independent character. Yeah, he's relentless, which just helps him with his bolter a little bit and charging purposes. He is a traitor, and he has his own warlord trait. His warlord trait. So this is what they do in the legacy sometimes. He has that armor pride that we talked about. So if you select him, that's the warlord trait he gets. He gets to, if he wasn't instant deathed out or just removed without taking wounds, leadership check, he can come back with D3 wounds. His weapon is a strength 5 AP dash. It's a melee, breaching, and murderous strike on a 5-up, duelist edge 1 mastercrafted weapon.
Meh.
Yeah, so does he have why is he in here? He doesn't have a model, I assume. No. So he's just a character they probably had before or that people like.
Didn't he die?
Yes.
So then, like, okay.
I'm pretty sure he did.
And isn't that's all his rules? That's
Yeah, he's short.
I'm gonna pass on this one.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's a no for me, dog.
That's like smash or pass.
I believe he did. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he did. Even if he didn't, he's oh no, he's the lone wolf now. He was he's tasked with hunting down the Shattered Legions. Yeah.
He was part of the pair, the either and the or. One of them died, the other one lived.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Got it. Yeah, so he's named because he's in the books. That's all. Yep, we're done with him.
Jeez, they could have given him something. Christ.
That's okay. All right, we are on to the final thoughts. Who would like to start with their thoughts about these heretic boys? All right.
Yeah, I'll
go ahead and start.
They're a fun, stupid legion.
Why stupid?
No, like fun, stupid fun. I reversed the words.
You hang around children far too much.
I know, pretty much. They're stupid fun legion, man. Their legion trait is just solidly great. Absolutely pairs well if you're like doing Pride of the Legion. With now your Terminators are not being instant deathed out by power fists. That's excellent. You know what I mean? Their characters are pretty solid all around, except for Tybalt. He doesn't exist.
He's at least not in the main book, so that's okay that he's not that good.
They're pretty damn solid, and they are one of the prettiest legions. I don't know if it's like Brett, one of my friends who influenced me in this, and it sucks, but Brett loves teal. Loves teal with a passion. And I don't know if it's because I've seen his models. I'm starting to like teal as well, and I'm trying to fight it with the best part of me. And it sucks because I saw someone on Reddit recently post teal custodians with like a beautiful red like tabard, and I was just like, you know what, just pick up a couple more custodians. No, I was just like, Daniel, shut up.
You have more custodians than the Emperor had.
I know, but it's like it was like I wish I could have shot you. It's like teal with like legitimate gold trim,
Yeah.
and very much like the Sons of Horus. Um, but their models look great. Like Maloghurst, legit. I didn't realize this until you pointed it out, Dave. Like he's literally hanging on the banner.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like his hand is literally like, oh dear God, hold me. Their Legion command squad looks appropriately vicious. Not painted well in my opinion. I think like I know that they use different painters and everything, but this one's not great.
It needs highlights.
Yeah, there's something about it that kind of throws me off. Their Contemptor is fantastic. The Justaerin, even the Justaerin look like Cataphracti plus, I guess, because they got little tiny mohawks. Their Deimos Rhino doors look amazing. Their Reaver squads look spiky, like they legit look like they're gonna. It's funny because this would fit almost a World Eaters Legion, with the spikes all over their helmets, and stuff like that, chain axes. And even their Cataphracti Legion Terminator just looks good. They're just a cool, damn looking Legion. And they play well too. I will say, and this is going to be controversial, I do not like their Primarch model at all.
I don't think that's so controversial. The Primarchs, I think, are they're very hit and miss. 2, I think they're very polarizing.
I think, if I can give them, I think it's the head facing the wrong. Okay, so he's pointing, right?
No, he's
the
not
wind
pointing.
is blowing in that direction, or he's kind of like pointing with his hammer, right?
He's
And I know
marshaling his troops and
marshaling his
indicating the direction they're going to
feel
go. He's
like
saying, "You over there, go this way."
I feel like
Yes.
the head would be more appropriate facing in that direction, as if
No.
he's like looking. There's something about it that doesn't tick my box, and I don't know why. Because I'll put it this way: the fur is beautiful, the heraldry is beautiful, the trim is beautiful, the claw is fantastic. I
The
love
fur
that
is
claw.
so well done that PETA sent a complaint.
Wait, what? Is this this is the model that PETA sent a complaint for?
Well, it was on the list. Yeah.
Okay.
that was
I was
one
gonna
of
say
them.
I knew it was Space Wolves, but
Yeah.
so it's just like I like the resin model. Like looking at the resin model, it's beautiful, but looking at the painted models, there's just something.
No, the head is honestly facing the exact way it should, because he's not, he's talking to them more of, sort of that way of,
He's
say the
marshaling.
enemy's on the other side, look at them over there, so on and so forth. Like he's not actually trying to look where he is. He's trying to address the troops and signal to them of the things to look at. Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'll put it this way. It's a very cool looking model, but I think Primarchs can be very hit and miss in terms of if I would want them, especially when you consider the amount of resin you're working with, the cost, and all that kind of stuff.
The
But
new
I
Abaddon
like it.
looks good.
No,
The new
Abaddon's
Abaddon
armor looks good.
No, the new one that they're releasing. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
that one more than the.
yeah. The
But
horse
no,
was probably one of the first ones anyway. So
yeah. So it's solid. They look good. The paint scheme's great. That's my 2 cents.
all right. How about you, Steve? What final thoughts do you have?
I am fighting the urge to make a small detachment led by some chieftain. Every day I lose a little bit more. And I go, what if I took some of those bits for it? So like, nope, control yourself. But it tempts me. It's just, it's a cool legion. Their rules are easy to understand. They're very effective at what they do. The legion trait, fantastic.
Yep.
Special reaction, not shabby at all. And they actually build themselves quite well to be a small allied detachment side project just because of the way they're written. And I appreciate that because they're tempting you to become a small side project.
I had the same sort of thing.
I like them a lot.
Yeah. Well, when I was originally figuring out what legion I wanted to do besides my Dark Angels, because I wanted something to go with them, but also if I'm showing someone the game, that way there's some different looking models and all. Before I chose Death Guard, I was absolutely thinking Sons of Horus. One, because they're Dark Consularis, it does fit, or Dark Emissary, who is their Consularis, absolutely fits the allied detachment idea. Okay, so they kind of have that baked in. They have some other spots where I kind of like parts of them without having to build out a full force. the other part that's really nice about them, and it's the same part that's nice about the Imperial Fists, is any kit you buy currently in plastic from the Horus Heresy line is going to have base transfers for you. It's not going to be the fancy Forge World sheet or now GW sheet. It's still worth getting one of those, of course. But that means as you build up your army, you can actually still be putting transfers on your base guys. You know, for a while, a lot of my guys were sitting unfinished because I needed to have some transfers. You know, your attack squads at least can be finished. Some of your basic guys can still be finished. So there is something to be said of that. I think their rules are very strong in terms of their trait. I love the fact that it works essentially any combat. It doesn't matter how that combat occurs the first round. It's going to both add to your survivability, which adds to your ability to come back from mistakes. You know, and their advanced reaction works very well for that. If you made a mistake, you positioned poorly, the enemy's coming in to shoot you, charge you, all of that, I get +1 ballistic skill when I'm shooting them back. And once they're in the charge, their weapons are less dangerous to me in general. Of course, there's some cases where I may not be. They have cool looking units, and some of their special things from Forge World are some of the better looking ones, faces aside. And I absolutely agree with Dan. I do think they have the best looking Praetor model, at least of the ones that I've truly looked at.
Not top 3.
I would put them at top, although there's some I haven't looked at in a little bit. But from what I remember, that one I remember. I've seen it in the past. I remember that one. A lot of the other ones that look good, I don't remember.
I'm a big proponent of play something that looks good.
Absolutely.
Which tends to me either sometimes is stuff that's always not meta and then becomes meta later, but that's a different topic. And I would absolutely start this army just on the sheer fact that I love their Praetor.
Do it right now.
No, because that's not one of my top 3 that I want to start. There are better ones that I like.
All right.
We haven't talked about them yet, which is ironic.
We'll get to them.
Yes, the Salamanders, Alpha Legion, and although we already did talk about Ultra, Salamanders and Alpha Legion are my top 2.
Here's what we're going to do. Because at some point, so we've been putting out stuff on the YouTube for a year. We're doing podcasts a bit over a year and all. At some point, there's a few other things I want to do first. But at some point, we are going to put out a Patreon. Because, hey, why not? I pay for most of the things. Stuff's expensive. But part of that, one of the first, goals, and it'll be a low one. Because I'm going to make Dan put out his money anyway for this. Because I know how he is going to be like, oh, when we hit this goal, Dan's going to buy a Space Marine army. I'm going to make you do that. Yes, it absolutely will.
No.
Too bad. You're doing it anyway. You have to get at least one normal army for this game. You got to stop being a special snowflake with all your armies.
But then I got... Listen.
It doesn't have to be a big army. You get a small one.
I would
do a great HQ choice? Chieftains.
There you go.
Shut the fuck.
You will.
Damn it. No, I would absolutely, to be quite honest though, Dave, if I did start Loyalist, it might actually be Sons of Horus because of Loken.
There you go.
Luna Wolf. And because Loken and every time I forget his goddamn name, Garrow. Or it might be Death Guard just because of Garrow. And it would be like a small strike force with them to join with my Custodes.
All right. So think of the ones. Here's what I'll say. I'll put it out there now. That way it's official. Like I said, I do want to do Patreon, that kind of stuff, because hey, why not cover some costs? Because there is costs, especially as we look to want to record stuff and all. If we do that, and we'll put a reasonably small goal. We'll put it at a level to get, say, a special character from one of these things. And if we get to that, I will buy you the special character. So you'll pick the faction. I will get you your character.
Josh already was like, hey, I got free Terminators and shit. I'll just throw them at Josh. No, don't do it.
I said he'll do that, and I'll buy your character for you.
And I'll pick. God damn it.
That's fine. So I'm putting that out there now. Like I said, that'll be one of the first goals, and the goal will just state that I will buy you the character of your choice, and we are going to watch that snowball happen because I know how you work. It might take a little bit, but that's okay.
That's the sad part. You know exactly how I
do. That's why I'm doing this. Because it'll make happen what I need to happen. All right, so I think that'll do it for us tonight in terms of going over this Legion. So we do apologize for the little bit of break, but we're back now doing all of this, and look for the Rights of War shortly thereafter. And that'll do it for us tonight. So for the rest of the week, or for the next short time frame, in case you didn't watch the short update video that I made, we are going to try to get the rest of the Rights of the War recorded this week. They might not all release this week. I'm hoping across the week to maybe the next 2 weeks to get them all out. But the plan for this week is to get the rest of those recorded. That gives us the following 2 weeks after to get through the rest of the legions. And once all of that is done, we can figure out where we want to go from there. If we want to get back to some Titanicus, if we want to be able to just do an episode talking about what we've been up to for these last, I don't even know how long, because we haven't done what you might call a normal podcast episode where we even just talk about what we've been doing or games or anything like that. They've been very, very focused. So we'd like to be able to get back to at least a little bit of that. As always, I do want to thank everyone for listening. Remember, you can find us on any podcatcher. If so, reviews there are absolutely very, very helpful. We also put all this content out on YouTube. Remember, for the moment, the Rights of War are YouTube exclusive. I do want to put them out on podcatcher, but I want to try to do like a cut of all of them together, or at least in larger parts, because I don't want to fill the feed with tons of very small videos. That works better on YouTube than I think it does on a podcast app, personally. If you do pay attention to us on YouTube at all, likes and subscribes really do help us out a lot. If you did miss that update that I put out, we are working on a few things for the future. Some plans not sharing quite yet, as I try to figure out how I want to do them. Other ones, like we do want to do a giveaway in the not too distant future that we will be announcing more of. You'll find more announcements out of that on YouTube once we actually do it. I had to talk to some local stores and things like that, but I'm in the works of doing that. Although there is some going on in some of the stores, so it might be a little bit longer than I'd like. But we want to do things that are just of interest. So remember, if you want to reach out to us, you can always reach out through email for the moment, trainkickersnj@gmail.com, before we get, say, our Discord server public and a few other things. So there is some of that stuff in the works, but obviously now with especially Dan and myself working again, it does slow us down a little bit and able to do some of the other things. As school settles in, things get a lot smoother. All right, well, that does it for us tonight. Keep an eye open for everything else that we're putting out shortly, and have some good hobbying and some great gaming.